And good day, everyone. Welcome to Pro Golf Talk. This is George Honeycutt with Hugh Roy III, of course. Good morning, Hugh.
Good morning, George.
Glad to have you here, buddy. And we have a special guest with us joining us today, Mr. Al Cloyd, Dr. Al himself.
Dr. Grind.
Dr. Grind.
Good morning, good morning.
How are you?
Doing great.
Doing great. Super. Black Beauty's running okay?
Running real good, thank you.
Good. We'll explain to everyone what that means later. So the PGA Tour is down in Orlando at Arnold Palmer Invitational by MasterCard, of course, and they're playing Bay Hill, the beautiful Bay Hill. And I tell you what, the guys have started off on the tee box this morning at about 7:15, so They got an early start, and many of the players have completed up to 9 holes, if not more.
You've got them through 12.
And
most are the earliest ones are through 12.
Yeah, so, and guess who's in the lead, folks? World number 2, looking to be world number 1, Mr. Adam Scott.
Yeah,
Mr. Adam Scott.
holes, that's pretty stout around.
5 under par through 9. That's golfing your ball right there. And frankly, where he started on the back. So he's really gone through the stretch of holes that if they were going to jump up and bite him, they would have.
Yeah.
And so he can even go lower on the front.
I tell you what, though, George, the thing about Bay Hill that's so nice, I mean, it's you could swap both 9s, you'd never know the difference. Because
and you're right.
8 and 9 are just
agree.
monsters.
I would agree.
7, 8, and 9 are monsters, and then you go to the back 9, you got 16, 17, and 18. So, I mean, I think it's one of those golf courses you could go either or.
I would agree. He is, of course, Adam is kind of in one of those premier must-see television groups today, and I mentioned this to you, Hugh, earlier this morning before we went on air, and that was the group that I wanted to see today was Patrick Reed, Adam Scott, and Justin Rose.
Just to see how much this boy is top 5 in the world. George wants to see how he handles
Talking
it.
about Patrick Reed.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Big statement.
He's come out, he's made the statement, and granted, give it to him. I mean, you have to have that mentality.
Definitely.
If you don't feel like you're top 5 in the world, then who else is going to think you're top 5?
Everybody out there thinks that about themselves. They just don't necessarily throw it out to the press and the public like that.
So when VJ thinks that way, does he lick the other side of the antler also?
He very well might,
Okay.
but the man's won, a Masters.
That's true.
He knows how to play golf.
That's true.
So get off his back about the antler thing. Just because you got enough Dapper Dan to flip him.
And a good work ethic.
Yes.
He has a good work ethic.
Oh, he's extremely good. But, I tell you
my
what,
makeup specialist didn't come in this morning.
Yeah, your forehead's a little shiny.
You get a little shine off the top here.
But look at this, George. You got Davis Love up there playing well at 3 under, and then my good friend Trevor Immelman.
Uh-huh.
Trevor making a good show, which is nice to see because I'd really like to see him play well come Augusta.
And of course, his brother Mark is doing PGA Tour radio work.
The head coach at Columbus State University.
Yeah, and Mark will be following Trevor around, of course, and giving some insight as to what his game's like and all. So it's good to see Trevor. Of course, Trevor, a past Masters champion also, so he is getting into his form. Chad Campbell, who is good to see, is back up there at 2 under par. Brant Snedeker, who we talked about at length before this program on Roundtable.
And then your boy, Mr. Reed's at 2 under.
Patrick Reed's at 2 under, so he is starting the day off well. And again, Billy Horschel, Lucas Glover, Vijay Singh, Sean O'Hare is also at under par. And really, no one's really blowing up the golf course. If you look at the numbers, there are a couple that are kind of surprising. But one of which is Brendan Todd. He's at 7 over par through 11. Justin Hicks is 5 over par through 11. And Derek Ernst is 7 over par through 6. That's just, I'm sorry.
Yeah, not good.
That's just not good.
No.
So,
but then you got the human rain delay at 1 under par.
The human rain delay.
Mr. Kevin Na through 10 holes.
The human rain delay.
Hey, and then Johnson and last week's winners at 1 under through 9. So, I mean, guys are playing well coming up into the highlight of the spring. So this ought to be an interesting next few weeks.
It will be, and this is going to be an interesting week because most of these players that you're seeing today at this PGA Tour stop, the Arnold Palmer Invitational by MasterCard, they will be taking next week off.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of the guys that otherwise would not get into a full field event that will be getting into the Valero Open, of course, out at San Antonio. And but now you had sprung on me this morning. Phil Mickelson is now confirmed.
Yes.
For the Valero Open, and along
he's one
with
of the few top players that likes to play the week before a major.
He does, and as I mentioned to you, he doesn't have a top 10 yet. Yeah. So for this year, so he just probably feels like he has to stay competitive to try to get his game in tune for Augusta. Yeah. So Jim Furyk's playing next week, and a couple of others that likewise will be headed out there in support of that event.
Exactly. And then I just got to throw this in there for Miss Heather. Her man's at 1 under par, and you know who her major choice is every year when she goes to pick. She picks KJ Choi. He's in the top 10 going in the final round just about every year in every major. So got to give her credit. I got to
Heather, if you're watching on television, I'm shaking my head back and forth.
Yeah, she can't get it on the iPad, so she says she's listening.
All right. So again, the PGA Tour is down at Orlando. And interestingly, the ladies, the LPGA Tour has now come back to domestic USA, and they are out in Arizona at the JTBC Founders Cup. And that is, of course, starting today. And so the LPGA, good to have them back in coverage, and also for us to discuss. They've taken a couple weeks off since their South American swing, their Asian swing, wherever the hell they've been. It's been all over the place.
They're all over the world. There's no question about it.
So I'm glad to see them back and getting going. And of course, they've got several events upcoming, including the U.S. Women's Open again at Pinehurst, fought the week after the PGA Tour and the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. So a lot going on for the ladies. The Web.com Tour has left Brazil, and they have now just took a short flight, or it's not short, it's a couple hours, over to Panama. And they are playing at the Panama Claro Championship. And, of course, they'll be dealing with high humidity, some wind, but higher temperatures, and a
very tight golf course.
They need to watch out. They don't need to go rummaging through the rough areas. No. I've spent some time in Panama in my military days, and you don't exactly just go hunting for your ball in the tree line. Okay, you know what I mean?
Can get dangerous.
Yeah. There's barnyard animals there that you just you don't want to deal with. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So, and Hugh, I bring up the next event in interest of you, bud. I do believe that if you had taken your little backside down to Mississippi to qualify for the Mississippi Golf Resort Classic by C Spire, that you would have made this thing, bud.
Well, I looked at the scores. I had friends of mine. My brother-in-law is down there in Pascagoula, and I've got some good friends down in that Biloxi area. And since I went to Mississippi State, and they've all said, "Why didn't you come down here?" and blah blah blah. It only took 68 to get through. So I mean, I would have loved to. Just right now, just haven't had the time to practice and get ready.
Okay, all right. He could have shot 68 down there with one arm behind his back.
Definitely.
And an ingrown toenail.
An ingrown toenail. There you go.
Well, we get me a car.
We think a lot about his game, though, don't we? So, again, a lot happening on the PGA Tours this week. And, of course, we'll be bringing you a total recap, total summary for all of the tour stops coming up on Monday Morning Golf Drive or Monday Morning Golf Wrap. I get that right sometime. Monday Morning Golf Wrap.
See, I told you he's trying to speak too fast.
Well, I'm trying to move things along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So be sure to join us for that, of course, here on TGD TV, and, of course, thegolfdirector.com, which is on everybody's internet. You can bring that up and listen to us, or you can actually watch us now, which is a lot of fun. And I promise, hopefully, my makeup specialist will be in and take the sheen off the Dapper Dan here. So I'm looking forward to that. Hugh, anything else on the Pro Tours that we need to bring up?
No, I think we just watched for a good shootout this weekend.
I'm looking forward to Bay Hill. Bay Hill's one of those tournaments. Of course, Tiger's not playing. He pulled out because of his back. Again, all the questions throughout the media is, will he be back for Augusta? But however, Tiger has won this event several times at Bay Hill, and he is he's one of Arnie's favorites.
Oh, yeah. And it's a great golf course. I mean, it's just a great finishing, 3 holes, so it's good.
Well, 18's fun, especially on Sunday when they put that pin back right. And so that's always been a challenge for the players and has always made for good TV. So thanks for joining Hugh and George and Al for stepping in with us. Appreciate it, bud. Good seeing you.
Great to be here.
I want to thank you again for joining us on Pro Golf Talk here on thegolfdirector.com.